Majic 102.1, the People Station, in the studio with my good friend, the one and only from IJustGotHit.com. If you don't know who he is, now what's a better way to... I don't look at you as just an attorney. I don't. Entrepreneur, businessman, cool cat, TSU alumni.
Yeah, man, it's funny, man, because I think about you in a lot of the same ways. I was excited about coming in today because you and I can go, conversations over the many years can go one of two directions, right? We can keep it business, or we can keep it some of the stuff that really matters, right? Which is people, the world, the community, all that kind of stuff. So it's good to be back here, and it's good to see you, a familiar face. It really is, man.
Thank you.
So I was excited about this.
Thank you, man. Justin Martin, for those that don't know, but Gotchi Martin, IJustGotHit.com, in the studio. And these guys, I'm going to try to count. Well, no, I'm going to get you to count the years. First, let's talk about the bike giveaway. Yeah. This is year what for this bike giveaway? Man,
I wish I could tell you. I really don't. I don't. That just tells you right there. I don't keep up with it.
At least a decade?
It's got to be over a decade.
At least. Yeah. At least.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why do you continue to do that? At this point, you could have veered off, did something else, but you have been consistently a staple in this community doing this for a long time. Why? And why is it important?
Probably the individual moments, but let's start with you had a bike as a kid. Mm-hmm. I had a bike as a kid. All the listeners, somebody, needs a bike as a kid. That's why we do it, right? Because a bike I think it's been a source of freedom. I remember being able to, hey, mama, I'm out. I'm gone. Right before I could drive.
Right, and you ain't back until the street lights come on.
That's right. And she was, and if I was didn't do the dishes or whatever, she'd say, stay within calling distance. So if she was to yell out the front door, I was close enough to come back. But the bike was my independence. But the other thing that I think is more important now, man, is just, we're playing video games, we're looking at our phones, we're looking at tablets, Androids, whatever it is. Sir. And so, I looked up the other day, I was born in 1972, okay? So, and honestly, I was having a conversation with myself personally one morning about, like, what's retirement look like for somebody like me? How much money do you need to retire comfortably?
Sure.
Right? And so you got to be able to cover your monthly expenses, and also, of course, you're going to look, well, how much longer am I going to live? Well, that ain't really up to me. That's up to the man above and whoever conspired to keep me on this planet. I don't know. But I looked up online what's the average lifespan of a brother born in 1972. It said 66 years.
Really?
Yeah. Now I'm 52. So I started to wake my wife up and say, hey, let's start blowing all this money now. but I was like,
but you're healthy. You
I'm healthy,
yourself,
whatever, right? But that's back to the point.
Still,
Like when you look at our community, I want brothers and sisters to be around to the 80s, 90s, centurions or whatever, live to 100, right? We're built, like we're born to last. We're built to last. But we do these things to our bodies over the course of years that just sort of degrade what God gave us. So I feel like that's another reason to do the bikes, because at least we get the parents and the young people thinking about health and wellness, and maybe we add a few more years to people that ultimately are the biggest contributors to our community, the children, the future, right? Yes, and so that's it. But as you know, man, I know you've seen it, I've seen it, they still smile, man. Yeah. The moms are still appreciative. The dads are appreciative. The grannies that bring them out here sometimes. I remember somebody back when we used to do it that other spot. I won't put anybody on blast now, but they rode the bus over there, bro. They rode the bus, picked up the bike, and then whoever it was, I think it was a mother or granny, went and got back on the bus to take the bus back, with the bike. I'm like, okay, it meant that much to you. So we do the bikes. We'll always do the bikes. You know what I mean? We're going to be giving away bikes. I will be giving away bikes in Houston forever because I feel, I really will, man, until the wheels fall off this wagon. But I think there's so many reasons, the primary one being those smiles.
I love that. Now, the other thing that you're also doing is the $500 shopping spree. And you know what? When you hear someone saying for single mothers only, it's a bit of sadness in it for me. Yeah. And then when you start hearing the calls, you're like, damn, this is necessary, serious, and real.
Yeah.
So somebody has to step up to the plate and give them, especially during the holiday, to give them an opportunity to go, good things can happen to me too. And, you've heard one of the stories here today, when we was talking to the lady. I mean, it's amazing that we still live in a day and time where it seems like such a small thing, but it has such an impact.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy that you're still doing it, man. But what's your purpose? What's your purpose even in that? And let me go back even deeper than that. What even got you started into wanting to make sure that single mothers were able to take care of the family during the holiday?
That's a great question, Hatter, because I've had brothers go, hey, man, what about me? Because I'm still, to this day, I've got a few more months, but I've been paying child support for 30 years. Literally 32 now. 32 years. I understand what fathers are going through. I've never met my father. I couldn't tell you what he looks like. I don't even know his real name, right? My mama raised me. So my relationship with my mother is one where I saw her get up every morning, do what she needed to do to get me ready and get me out the door. But I went to 14 different schools between kindergarten and graduating from high school, 3 different states. She went where the money was. I was always the new kid. We lived in a trailer. We lived in an apartment complex. We shared the place with my granny and anybody else. I've been through all those iterations, right, of life. So this was my way to say, Mama, I saw you. And we're doing the same thing now with other mothers out there, right? Because you know this, you see the look. It's like, look, they go through their day feeling like nobody sees them. So it's no disrespect to the fathers. Right. Fathers, I see you too. I understand,
Absolutely.
dog.
You're a father.
I'm a father,
yes,
right?
Sir.
And my side hustles were me trying to find ways to make up for the check I was writing to the AG, and I understand that hustle, and I'm willing to talk to him any day about how to do the side hustles. I probably shouldn't say that I'm a lawyer. I never did that, but I was just joking. This is just acting, kidding. But the truth is, man, I think the moms, as you see, that sometimes these situations stack up on mothers, and look, man, another point I think is even more important. Even as a child support payer, like this society we live in, the Christian society, like based off of, if you have a child with a woman, you need to financially take care of that child. But you don't have to bathe the child. You don't have to make the dinner every single night as a father. There's a lot of us that got away with paying the child support, but never had to do any of that type of work, right? The regular doctor's appointment, the immunizations, the dentist appointments, the haircuts, the learning how to braid hair, all that kind of stuff. The mothers did a lot of that work. And so let's just face it, gentlemen, for the fathers out there that do that, I bow down. When I see the fathers, I know you're that type of father. You and I have talked about that.
You know I'm there.
Right? I know you're there. But that's you, right? Yeah, and I wish we could pour that into everybody. But I was able to go to work. And there's a lot of women out there that when they have the kids, right, they don't get that opportunity to choose, I'm just going to go to work today. Little Junior is sick at school. I'm not going to go. I'm working. I'm not going to pick him up. You go pick him up. That's a mama's job. So I think there's just this balance, and I know it may not be perfect the way we do it. I wish I could be perfect. I know one person that walked this earth that was, and I'm certainly not him. But we're doing the best we can.
Yes.
And I feel like our ability to touch this community the way this community's touched us is important today as it always has been. And so David and I have been committed. He knew my mama. He knows my mama, and he saw my mama as well. And so, thankfully for him, he said, hey, look, if this is what you want to do, it's what we're going to do. So we take single mom shopping. And it's fun. And they're doing it because they want something to be under the tree on Christmas Day.
That's right.
They want to be the star of the show for their children. They want to be able to come through. And like you said, man, I mean, we've done this for a long time, Hatter. And we don't see the same mamas twice. Many of these mamas are just going through something right now. This is just that time where they've hit that wall, the low, whatever it is, right? They're in the valley. We trying to get them back up the hill a little bit. So that's all we're doing.
I love that way of looking at it. That's a perfect way. That's a perfect way of looking at it. I love that right there. You're just here during the valley stage, but you know that they're on the come up. I think that's perfect, and that's the way to think about this particular giveaway that you're doing. So I'm gonna salute you on that. That's a perfect way. We're gonna end right there on that, because that's the perfect way to think about this as to why you do it. You want to be there to ease the burden during this particular season that they're in.
Yeah.
So salute on that, man. Godsey Martin, I just got hit.com. Where David at?
David has got a big event that he's doing for, I believe, we're both HBCU guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's on the board for Houston Tillotson.
Okay.
And so he's now contributing in more ways than one to academics and education and all that. So I'm proud of him, man. So he's doing some events with them right now. So, but if I'm here, he's here. We got that rule. We've had that rule forever. If he's there, I'm there. I'm sure my name will come up at some point in time. I spent a little minute at HT, real little minute at HT. Then got back to TSU as quick as I could. But anyway, yeah, that's where he's at, man. So it's all good.
Well, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you, too.
I'm glad you're still doing this because I think it's necessary in our community.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
again, salute to IJustGotHit.com and salute to you and, your brother David, man. So, thank you, man.
Appreciate you, Hatter, man. Thank you, man.
Thank
Back at you, brother.
That's
Thank
all I
you for
can
doing
say.
what you do.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.